The familiar silhouette of a Philippine Airlines aircraft touched down at Ninoy Aquino International Airport on March 11, 2025. The plane's arrival was anticipated by many, but no one could have predicted the dramatic events that would unfold. It should have been a routine return for former President Rodrigo Duterte from a medical trip to Hong Kong. The former leader, who had been out of the public eye for some time, was expected to quietly resume his life in the Philippines. Instead, it became the setting for a stunning turn of events. The atmosphere at the airport shifted dramatically as the unexpected unfolded. As Duterte disembarked, a phalanx of law enforcement officers awaited him. The sight of so many officers created a palpable tension among the onlookers. The former president, known for his brash demeanor and fiery rhetoric, was swiftly taken into custody. His arrest was executed with precision, leaving no room for resistance or escape. The arrest sent shockwaves through the Philippines and beyond. News outlets quickly picked up the story, broadcasting the dramatic footage and eliciting a range of reactions from shock to disbelief. Duterte, who had cultivated an image of an unyielding strongman, was now facing the prospect of international justice. His stern expression betrayed little, but the gravity of the situation was undeniable. He was quickly transferred to Villamor Air Base, a Philippine military facility. The transfer was carried out under tight security, reflecting the high stakes of the situation. From there, a Dutch government plane awaited, ready to transport him to The Hague, Netherlands. The plane stood as a symbol of the international community's commitment to justice. His destination, the International Criminal Court. The ICC, often seen as the last resort for justice, was now the stage for Duterte's next chapter. This unexpected detention marked the beginning of a new chapter in Duterte's story, one that could have profound implications for the Philippines and its approach to human rights. The arrest was not just a personal blow to Duterte, but a significant moment in the nation's history. It also cast a spotlight on the ICC itself, an institution often criticized for its perceived inability to hold powerful figures accountable. The world watched closely, wondering if this would be a turning point for international justice. The world watched as Duterte, once seemingly untouchable, was now being extradited to face charges for crimes against humanity. This high-profile extradition was a testament to the enduring pursuit of justice, no matter how powerful the individual. At the heart of Duterte's arrest lie the haunting allegations stemming from his controversial war on drugs. Launched shortly after he assumed the presidency in 2016, the campaign was characterized by its brutal efficiency and utter disregard for due process. Thousands of suspected drug users and dealers were killed, often without trial or investigation. Human rights groups documented widespread extrajudicial killings, painting a grim picture of state-sanctioned violence. The ICC, after years of preliminary examinations and investigations, formally charged Duterte with crimes against humanity. The court's prosecutors alleged that Duterte's drug war was, in reality, a systematic and widespread attack against the civilian population. They point to the staggering death toll, estimated to be between 12,000 and 30,000, as evidence of the campaign's horrific consequences. The ICC's charge sheet focuses specifically on extrajudicial killings carried out by the Philippine National Police and vigilante groups, allegedly operating under Duterte's direction. The court claims that Duterte, through his words and actions, incited and encouraged these killings, creating a climate of impunity where law enforcement and vigilantes felt empowered to act with lethal force. Furthermore, the ICC alleges that Duterte's administration actively obstructed justice by intimidating witnesses and tampering with evidence. Duterte's arrest cannot be viewed in isolation from the complex and often volatile landscape of Philippine politics. The arrest is a significant event that has sent shockwaves through the nation, highlighting the deep-seated issues that have plagued the country for decades. The country has long grappled with issues of corruption, cronyism, and political dynasties. These problems have created a fertile ground for political maneuvering and power struggles, often at the expense of the Filipino people. In recent years, a new dynamic has emerged, one marked by a growing rivalry between the once-allied Duterte and Marcos families. This rivalry has added another layer of complexity to the already intricate political landscape. The arrest came on the heels of a significant political development, the impeachment of Sara Duterte, Duterte's daughter and former vice president. This event has further intensified the political tension in the country. While the specifics of the impeachment remain shrouded in controversy, many observers believe it was orchestrated by allies of current President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., son of the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr. This belief has fueled speculation and debate among political analysts and the general public. The impeachment is widely seen as a sign of the Marcoses' growing influence and their determination to sideline the Dutertes. This power play has significant implications for the future of Philippine politics. President Marcos Jr., who assumed office in 2022, faces a delicate balancing act. He must navigate the treacherous waters of political alliances and rivalries while trying to maintain stability and progress in the country. On the one hand, he is keen to distance himself from the human rights abuses of the Duterte era and present a more moderate image to the international community. This is crucial for gaining international support and improving the country's global standing. On the other hand, he is wary of alienating Duterte's still considerable support base. This support is essential for maintaining political stability and ensuring his administration's survival. Marcos Jr. has not rejoined the ICC, from which Duterte withdrew the Philippines in 2019. This decision reflects his cautious approach to international relations and domestic politics. However, he has signaled a willingness to cooperate with international law enforcement, a move seen by some as an attempt to placate both domestic and international audiences. This balancing act will be crucial in determining the future trajectory of his presidency and the country's political landscape. As news of Duterte's arrest reverberated across the Philippines, the nation found itself at a crossroads, grappling with the implications of this unprecedented event. His legal team and staunch supporters launched into a chorus of denials and accusations, vehemently defending the former president's actions and questioning the legitimacy of the charges. Duterte, known for his defiance and disdain for international pressure, stood firm in his stance, refusing to bow to what he perceived as external meddling in the country's affairs. He wasted no time in denouncing the ICC's actions, calling them an overreach and an affront to Philippine sovereignty. He characterized his arrest as a politically motivated attack orchestrated by his enemies to silence him and tarnish his legacy, a narrative that resonated deeply with his base. His supporters, many of whom see him as a hero who brought stability and order to the country, rallied behind him with fervor. Duterte's lawyers argue that the ICC has no jurisdiction over him or the Philippines, citing the nation's withdrawal from the Rome Statute as a key point. They contend that the country's withdrawal from the Rome Statute, the treaty that established the ICC, effectively nullified the court's authority within Philippine territory. This legal argument has been a cornerstone of their defense, aiming to delegitimize the ICC's proceedings against Duterte. Furthermore, they argue that the Philippine justice system is capable of investigating and prosecuting any alleged crimes committed during Duterte's presidency, emphasizing the country's sovereignty and judicial independence. They portray the ICC's involvement as a violation of Philippine sovereignty and an affront to the country's legal system, a sentiment echoed by many of Duterte's supporters. Duterte's supporters, many of whom view him as a decisive leader who restored order to the country, have expressed outrage over his arrest, seeing it as an unjust attack on their chosen leader. Large protests have erupted in major cities, with demonstrators waving Philippine flags and chanting slogans denouncing the ICC and foreign interference. They view Duterte as a victim of a Western conspiracy, accusing the ICC of applying double standards by targeting leaders from developing countries while turning a blind eye to alleged crimes committed by powerful Western nations. This narrative has fueled a sense of nationalism and defiance among his supporters, who see the ICC's actions as an attack not just on Duterte but on the Philippines itself. The protests have been marked by a strong sense of unity and patriotism, with demonstrators from all walks of life coming together to defend their former president. As the situation continues to unfold, the nation remains deeply divided, with Duterte's supporters and detractors locked in a battle over the future direction of the Philippines. The outcome of this legal and political struggle will undoubtedly have far-reaching implications for the country's democracy and its place on the global stage. As the world watches, the Philippines stands at a critical juncture, with the arrest of Duterte serving as a flashpoint for broader debates about justice, sovereignty, and international law. The coming months will be crucial in determining how these issues are resolved and what the future holds for the nation. As the legal battles continue, the voices of the people, both for and against Duterte, will play a pivotal role in shaping the country's path forward. The world will be watching closely as the Philippines navigates this complex and contentious chapter in its history. In the pursuit of justice, it's crucial to ensure that every victim's voice is heard. Accountability is not just a word, it's a promise to uphold the dignity and rights of those affected. We must strive to bring perpetrators to justice and provide support for the victims and their families. This is not just about punishment but also about healing and restoring faith in the system. Remember, justice delayed is justice denied, and we owe it to the victims to act swiftly and fairly. Rodrigo Duterte, a man whose journey from the mayor of Davao City to the president of the Philippines has been nothing short of extraordinary. His rise to power was marked by a tough stance on crime and a promise to restore order. But, with his ascent, questions about his methods and the cost of his policies began to emerge. As Duterte's tenure continued, the international community started to scrutinize the human rights violations under his administration. Calls for accountability grew louder. Could there be a reckoning for the impunity that seemed to shield those in power? The debate intensified. Was the pursuit of justice genuine or merely a political maneuver? Critics argued that the actions taken against Duterte were driven by political motives, while others insisted that justice must be served, regardless of the political landscape. In a dramatic turn of events, Duterte faced arrest. The pursuit of international justice took center stage. Would this be a defining moment for accountability, or would it be seen as a contentious chapter in the Philippines' political history? Only time would tell.